Welcome to our aging puzzle. I am your host, Corlette Deveaux. Our show is about aging and how it affects all of us. We are going to have one-on-one conversations with guests from all walks of life that have been impacted by life and aging. Remember, we don't care if you're young, if you're middle-aged, if you're senior. Nope. We want to bring inspiring stories to everyone. We're going to have an opportunity to listen to stories that will definitely move us all to tears. And it's going to make us laugh. Some of them are going to inspire us. And well, overall, we want to give you valuable insights on various topics, health problems, and ways to live longer and live healthier. We look forward to an inspiring time with you joining us and all of us connecting and learning from each other. This month, we commemorate breast cancer awareness. Now, during this month, we're going to discuss the misconceptions about this disease and the significance of having regular checkup. We got to check ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our time to come together and also celebrate the stories of survivors and honor the lives of those who have been lost. We obviously know that this is a very difficult time. It is also an opportunity for healing and for reflection. During this month, it gives me great pleasure to have as our guest my very dear friend, one of the dearest friends that I love so much in the world, Dr. Michelle C. Powell. My dear friend, Dr. Powell, is going to share her breast cancer battle and open up with us about her discovery of her diagnosis, her treatment, the side effects. She's going to share everything with us, and we hope that her story will inspire and help someone out there, survivors or caregivers, and everyone else who has been affected by breast cancer in some way. So we want to bring awareness to breast cancer this month. That's our topic. Now, remember, every month we have one guest, and that guest will talk to us about their journey week after week. Week one, we're going to hear the big reveal. Yes, how did they learn the news? What did they do? Week two, what were their options for treatment? Week three, we're going to talk to them about what treatment they went through. Was it effective? How did they respond to it? Did they have side effects? And then week four, we want to hear the outcome of treatment and what happened and how they are doing today. So join us every week, week after week, to hear the full journey of our guests. And this month, we have Dr. Michelle C. Powell, who will walk you through her journey every single week for 4 weeks, my dear friend. Now, every week we talk about aging facts. Let me share some aging facts with you. Life expectancy around the world has increased. Did you know that? It actually has significantly increased in the past 50 years, and it is expected to increase for the next 20 years. Actually, I was at a summit in April this year at the Atlantis, the Healing Health Summit put on by Dr. Desiree Cox. And there was something that stuck with me. The stem cell scientists were there talking about life expectancy and stem cell research. And one of the scientists said that the person who is going to live to be 200 years old is already born. Like, what? Yes, the person who's going to live to be 200 years old is already born. And that is what studies show. People are living longer. Now, with the aging population, there is a need for countries around the world to prepare for the potential rise in cancer diagnosis. Because as we live longer, you increase your chance of getting cancer. So we need to prepare for cancer more or increase of cancer diagnosis. And the National Cancer Institute and the American Cancer Society conducted a study to estimate the amount of time spent providing informal caregiving for cancer patients 2 years after diagnosis. Now, depending on the type of cancer, the different levels of emotional, tangible, and medical support may be needed. So according to the results from a breast cancer study, it showed that patients' overall level of caregiver burden was moderate, with female caregivers experiencing high levels of burden versus men. And those caregivers providing 24-hour care reported higher levels of burden than those caregivers only providing 3 to 4 hours of care per day. That's a heavy burden if you have to care for someone 24 hours a day. The good news, studies have shown that cancer survival rates have improved due to early detection and advanced treatment options. Although research is inconclusive, lifestyle factors such as maintaining a healthy weight, being physically active, eating fiber-rich foods, and reducing saturated fat intake positively impacts your cancer survival. So folks, I say it week after week, every single week I say it. We've got to eat and maintain a healthy diet. So go ahead, eat healthy and age gracefully. Remember this month, Breast Cancer Awareness. We are going to talk with Dr. Michelle C. Powell again this week. And last week, remember, we discussed the importance of performing self-breast exams and about your diet, drinking alcohol or not drinking alcohol, and also about exercising. We want to keep that conversation going. Although healthy behaviors can lower your risk of breast cancer, we are learning that breast cancer can happen due to everyday stress of living, which is known as just aging. This includes what we put into our bodies, what we put onto our bodies, what we put around our bodies, such as hormone replacement therapy and environmental toxins. Be careful what you put in, onto, and around your bodies, folks. Breast cancer is widely recognized and much discussed form of cancer, yet there are still numerous misconceptions. So look, most people with breast cancer have no family history. Did you know that? And actually, up to 10% of the time, there is a single inherited high-risk gene. 51% of them have inherited modern risk gene. 75% of people don't have a family history of cancer. Here are a few more misconceptions. There is no evidence that wearing a bra can cause breast cancer. Actually, in 2014, a study of 1,500 women with breast cancer found no correlation between wearing a bra, including the underwire bras, and there's no evidence of a connection between underarm antiperspirant. That's interesting. There's also no evidence that consuming too much sugar causes breast cancer. However, it is important to keep in mind that eating too much sugar can lead to weight gain, and being overweight is a risk factor for breast cancer. Mammograms are the best early detection tool for breast cancer, but there are no foolproof way of detecting breast cancer. And sometimes mammograms can miss breast cancer, and actually it misses about 20% of cancers. So women, we encourage you to conduct self-examination. And women with dense breast tissue are more at risk for false negative results. Now, we must advise you that any unusual lumps should be checked by a healthcare professional. Don't take it lightly, do not. Mammograms are a good screening tool, but cancer survivors emphasize that self-awareness and intuition for early detection, as imaging may not always detect it. They recognize the importance of self-breast examination. Now, here's another common myth. If the lump is painful, it's not breast cancer. That's a myth. And if you can feel a lump that is smooth and or that moves around freely under the skin, it's not breast cancer. That's not true. It is extremely important to get any lump or any unusual mass, any feeling of any difference in your breast checked out by a healthcare professional. As most lumps are benign, which means they don't have cancer, but there is still a possibility of breast cancer, so do not take a chance. Go see a healthcare professional. You're going to hear from Dr. Powell how the doctor took her seriously, despite the fact that she had just had a mammogram and had been cleared a few months before. She found her own breast cancer a few months after getting cleared through a mammogram. So ladies and gentlemen, take it seriously. So now it's time to welcome our very special guest. Again, This is none other than Dr. Michelle C. Powell, my dearest friend. Dr. Powell, if you know her, you'll observe her poise and her wisdom. She is a board-certified osteopathic family physician with over 25 years of experience. She emphasizes lifestyle changes for long-term positive outcomes and frequently addresses hypertension, diabetes, and obesity. Dr. Powell is the founder and CEO of Powell Health Solutions, which delivers affordable and quality preventive healthcare with a holistic approach. She is also a popular lecturer and spokesperson who challenges thinking and behavior to achieve better outcomes. And despite her breast cancer, she is a survivor. She has had to implement her own teachings when 2 years ago she was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. And today she is thriving. She's a survivor. And she shares her many stories and her experiences to women and families around the world. She has a goal of helping to improve and positively impact breast cancer survival among underserved communities. Her patients love her. We all love her. And she brings her compassion, her knowledge, and her dedication and her commitment to the well-being and the betterment of all. And the magic of Dr. Powell's touch is a testament to her unwavering pursuit of excellence in the art of healing. We love Dr. Michelle C. Powell, and we want to welcome her to our show. Welcome, Dr. Michelle Powell. We are back with Dr. Michelle C. Powell. Last week, she talked about how she was able to identify the breast cancer that she had. So inspiring and so important for all of us as women to do self-examination. And that's how Dr. Powell was able to find her breast cancer. This week, Dr. Powell is going to talk with us about treatment options. Treatment options. So you've got stage 2, stage 3, Dr. Powell. Tell us, what did the doctor tell you were your options for this type of cancer?
So before I say exactly what they said about treatment options, the first place is, how do you even know where to go, what to do? And, you know, being new to treatment for breast cancer, I was always the person as the primary care doctor where I got the mammogram report and I would tell my patient, hey, I'm so sorry, but it looks like there's a breast cancer here and I need you to see a specialist to determine what to do.
Right.
So I was the full stop at, okay, the diagnosis. As far as treatment options, I left it to the oncologist, which is a cancer specialist, and I left it to an oncology surgeon, someone who specializes in surgeries for cancer. And in the case of breast cancer, they actually have specialists who specialize specifically not just in breast surgery like plastic surgeon, augmentation, reducing breast. They have people who specialize in reconstructing breast after cancer or removing the breast, because that's a special type of surgery. I didn't know that,
Wow.
and I'm a doctor. So one option is, let's remove surgically the cancer, right? And that would be with a general surgeon who has decided to learn more about breast cancer surgery, or an actual oncology surgeon, which is a surgeon who actually did their training to remove cancers of the breast. So that was one option. But I'm like, which one do I go to? And who is the best one?
Right.
And then there's a treatment option that everybody knows about or hear about, chemotherapy. And so having gone through a little bit with my mom, but I was in high school. I was in high school when my mom had stomach cancer. And my aunt was in another part of the state. So for many people who have relatives who've had cancer, they're not usually walking the journey with them. You hear,
That's right.
oh, my aunt had cancer, my grandma had cancer. They may have already passed.
Right.
And so all they knew is that they did chemo and it's a word.
Right. But they don't know the process and what they have to go through, the decision-making process, deciding on the doctors, the nuances that you have to go through. It's a lot.
It's a lot. And what I found out, so you're looking at surgery, then you're looking at chemo. And then in the field of chemo, and for those who don't know, chemo means a medication that is put through your veins, through your bloodstream, that is sent to kill and destroy fast-growing cells. And they've identified some of these chemicals that will latch on to breast cancer tissues that are fast-growing. But here's the thing, chemo is designed to attack fast-growing cells. So it's not that smart, those drugs. So fast-growing cells are your nails. Fast-growing cells are your eyelashes. Fast-growing cells are your hair on your head. Fast-growing cells are in your stomach, on your tongue, in your mouth. So some of the side effects of chemo that people always hear about is people are nauseated, they're vomiting, they lose their hair, and they lose weight, because fast-growing cells are attacked by this chemical that's put in your body to destroy these fast-growing cancer cells. But sometimes it affects, and often affects, non-cancer cells. So you have that option. So you got cancer, chemo treatment, cancer, surgical removal, and then you have a third option or treatment that's called radiation. Well, when I first heard radiation, I thought of my microwave, or they were breaking down the ozone layer and the rays are coming in as our ozone's being depleted, And as I learned more about medicine, okay, radiation, they use machines and they beam these particles at the area that has cancer. And now they've gotten to a place where they're able to zoom into the area. Before, 20 years ago, they used to just microwave the area all over, everything. Just over everything. So people getting radiation would get burns on their neck, on their chest, even though they had this little lump in their breast.
Wow.
But praise God, we're 20 years, 30 years out of prehistoric breast cancer treatment, that they're now able to localize and use computer scientific calculations to identify and the exact location for treatment.
Wow. So those are so many options. So for your stage 2, stage 3 breast cancer, you had options of surgery from an oncologist or a general surgeon. You had the chemo, you had radiation, you had a lot of options. And those options required a significant amount of research for you to decide which one you were going to select based on what the doctor recommended.
I didn't get that.
Right?
Okay. Definitely.
Wow.
Now, here's the thing, Corlette and the listeners. If you have no medical background or minimal medical background, what are you reading? What are you understanding? Where are you doing your research? Where are you getting information? And I will tell you, as a PCP, I've heard the majority of information come. My brother, my sister, my uncle, my aunt, my auntie, my cousin, and my best friend's sister, whose girlfriend, aunt, had cancer, and told me that this is what should be done. Because the literature, the stuff on, I call it Google Doc, is so expansive. It's hard for a person who's not in the field of medicine to even absorb and select the best thing. I found myself as a doctor of over 25 years sitting here like I just got out of high school with all the literature and the information. And that is why when I was going through this journey, I started to really use social media to communicate and to break down what is going on, because the process can be so complex.
Right. Wow. If you're a physician and you don't know, I can only imagine the layperson, what they would have to go through. So looking at the treatment options that you had, what advice would you give to someone that's not a medical doctor, that are given all of these options? What advice would you give them to navigate, to help them decide? Because you had to get help as well, and you are in the medical field, you're a physician.
Yeah.
What advice would you give someone?
I believe that for any kind of treatment, I always recommend to go to people who have experience. And I'll give an example. You would not ask your plumber to fix your car.
No, you would not.
Nor would you ask your electrician to paint your house. Granted, if they have experience, it is sure. But I found that if I wanted someone to paint my car, I would not ask my friend who's a pottery maker to, paint my car just because she's an artist. So my advice that I would give to people, lay people, even physicians, nurses, other healthcare workers, go to people with experience and knowledge in what you're about to embark on to help you make your decision. Don't get advice from people who have not done their research, who doesn't have the experience. Don't ask someone with no shoes to make you a shoe. Don't ask someone who has no hair to cut your hair.
Right.
Because
right.
I have heard so many stories where my sister said that, it's that stuff will kill you. You shouldn't do that. And your sister's what? Oh, she's a teacher. Oh, or she works with the airlines. Did she have cancer? No.
No cancer, no experience, no medical
Nothing.
background, but she's giving you advice. That's, I equate that to, if you have never been married, it's difficult for you to give advice to someone who is married. Another example, it's difficult for you to give advice about raising children when you've not had kids.
For real.
So sometimes what you're saying, Dr. Michelle Powell here, get advice from someone that is that's knowledgeable about the situation. And that would be a healthcare professional or a nurse, but reach out to someone to get advice, because there is a lot of information that you will have to digest. And as you were going through your journey, you had people that you reached out to. You're a physician, but you still reached out to your support system to get help.
Yes. Okay.
So that's fantastic. Great.
I believe Corlette. I believe Corlette, it's and it's not so much that you have to have cancer to know how to talk to some about it, but you have to really do real research, not what I call bubblegum research, not the first Google review, nor the first page on Google or Yahoo. I'm talking about scientific research. And not the research from people who've had bad experience because they had no experience. Because there are a lot of people who have had bad experience, bad marriages, because they had no experience with being in a relationship and entered marriage without that insight on communication and all the parts of being in a relationship. So many people have had cancers, but they didn't follow the research or talk to people who are knowledgeable on the subject and ended up with adverse outcomes and
Absolutely.
fear. There's one place we didn't talk about, Corlette, in choices: surgical, radiation, chemo. But there's one other choice that many people opt for, and that's do nothing.
Yes, we did not talk about that.
Too many people choose the option of do nothing.
Mhm.
Sit with the cancer that can be treated and be cured because of fear. And doing nothing, I must say, because we're talking about options, is also an option.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Not my choice, but
No, I understand. Do nothing will result in something.
yes. Sometimes they say, saying nothing is still saying something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you had three options. Well, you did have four.
Yeah, I had four.
Do nothing, radiation, chemotherapy, and surgery.
Yes.
When we come back next week, we're going to talk about what treatment options you actually went with. What did you decide to do and why?
Yeah.
Because when you're going through this journey, everyone has to decide what they want to do because they look at the pros and they look at the cons.
Yeah.
And it's your decision. You decide. You decide if you want to do something or if you don't want to do anything at all.
All right. Yes.
Your decision, your life, your body. So we will come back next week when we are going to hear from you, Dr. Powell, on what you did. And we want to hear everything about the treatment options that you went through. If there were side effects, what they were like, we want to hear everything from you. We appreciate you sharing your story. We know it's not easy. Is there anything you want to share before we conclude our interview today? Because this is about you and this is about all women out there to help them with breast examination and taking care of themselves. Yes. Is there anything you want to add?
Yes, I want to add that you do have options. That's the first thing. Never believe there's nothing I can do. The second thing is get your options from valid sources. And a valid source is someone who is knowledgeable and experienced in the treatment.
Absolutely.
And don't take the first information you get. Get at least a few options together, look them over, and let your spirit guide you, because your spirit will talk to you and tell you what is going to be the best thing for you.
That's fantastic. I like the fact that you said get options. You can go and get options. You can go and get a second opinion as well.
Yes.
You can get second and third opinion until you're comfortable with the information, and then you can decide what options you're going to select for your treatment and for you and for your life.
All right.
Fantastic information. Dr. Michelle C. Powell is our guest again this second week. We're going to see you next week where she's going to share the treatment that she went through for her stage 2, stage 3 breast cancer. Dr. Michelle, I love you.
Love you too.
I'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Again, thank you to Dr. Michelle C. Powell. She has shared her insights and her process to consider and to look at the treatment options for her during her journey with breast cancer. Now let's talk about habits to live longer and live better. Remember, every week we recommend 4 things. 1, proper diet. Eating a healthy diet that is balanced is essential for protecting your health and can prevent up to 80% of premature heart disease and stroke. Number 2, regular exercise. There's a common myth that morning is the best time to exercise, and it may have some truth to it in terms of increased productivity and sleep, but there's no real evidence to suggest it for weight loss. So whenever you can get a chance, exercise, work out, walk, do something, whether it's in the morning, afternoon, or evening, just do something. We want you to be healthy. Number 3, reduce stress. Sing and listen to music, sing in the shower, Sing in a group, sing by yourself. Whatever you do, just sing. Listen to music. It can release the love hormone and make you feel connected. That will reduce stress. And number 4, socialization. Increase your social contacts. Make them quality. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. If you can't meet someone in person, get on Zoom. That's the end thing now. FaceTime, Zoom, video chat, something, anything. Touch people. And don't worry about having a reason. Just call and say, hello. That's as good a reason as any. So doing these 4 things will help you have a positive and overall health, and it will improve your well-being and help you live longer and live better. So remember, our topic for the month is breast cancer awareness. If you want to learn more about the types of breast cancer, please visit American Cancer Society or breastcancer.org. This is a great time to promote awareness and the importance of research, early detection, and prevention of breast cancer. Let's show our support by wearing pink, anything, pink socks, pink hat, an umbrella, a ribbon, anything to support and increase awareness of breast cancer this month. Our sponsor for the Aging Puzzle is DG Incorporated. DG Incorporated is a marketing and business development powerhouse providing strategic guidance, business plan writing, and business coaching to entrepreneurs around the world. DG Incorporated is an entrepreneur's growth partner to help them build, operate, grow, and repeat. And if you want to learn more about DG Incorporated, you can visit their website at dgincorporated.com or follow them on LinkedIn at DG Incorporated. And we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Our Aging Puzzle and subscribe to DG Incorporated YouTube channel at DG Incorporated. And remember, watch our show every Friday evening at 8 p.m. And again, we want to thank our special guest this month, Dr. Michelle C. Powell. Such a fantastic guest and such a moving story. Listen, we want to see you next week to hear Dr. Powell share her experience with her treatment for breast cancer. So we want to see you next week. Thank you for joining us. Voila. Bye.
I'm Kevin Harrington, an original shark from Shark Tank. DG Incorporated provides coaching services to help entrepreneurs open and grow assisted living facilities and build economic wealth. Visit their website to learn more.